going on, everybody? I'm Max Ralph.
Seth Engle.
1-0 podcast coming at you live with the Rapid Reacts. Penn State just took down Maryland 30-0. It was honestly just a start to finish domination. Maryland got the ball first. Zane Durant got a sack on the first couple of plays. Then Penn State had 7 sacks by the end of the day. Maryland was negative total yardage on offense for like 3/4 of the first half. It was just pure domination all day. First takeaway, Seth.
First takeaway is that was a terrible game for Maryland. I mean, this is a team that was, last week in conversations to be ranked, it was terrible. I mean, offensively and defensively, it was just terrible. On the defensive side of the ball, they just couldn't stop the run game. Despite Penn State not really being able to throw it. Yeah. It was also wet, and they knew that the ball was going to be run a lot, and Penn State still ran all over them. Nick Singleton at 122 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was just domination.
Once again, with a patchwork offensive line. No Olu Fashanu, Landon Tangwall's done for the year. It was another, couple of younger guys, couple of second stringers coming in. It was another really impressive performance up front for Penn State. And like you mentioned, didn't really throw the ball well today. Sean Clifford did not have his best day. He set the record for all-time passing yards at Penn State, but he didn't have his best day. And it was Nick Singleton and Katron Allen who carried the load once again. And he was talking post-game how nice it is to have them to be able to take the load off of his shoulders. And just another really impressive performance for Penn State on the ground, and that's just been so important to their success this year. But bottom line is a 30-0 win against what we thought was a decent Maryland team, which maybe that's not so true, but Penn State kind of proved it. We talked this week about how this was a prove-it game.
Yep.
Penn State proved it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we talked on the podcast. You said, this is a prove-it game for Penn State. What did they prove? Well, they proved all along what we've been saying since the preseason, where we said this is a 10-2 team.
Yep.
It's a good football team, maybe a great football team, not elite yet, and that's still the case to this day. I mean, they blew out Maryland. They're great. I mean, I think this team is in the great territory because they've played good teams like Maryland and Minnesota, and they've blown them out. I mean, and then they've come close to Ohio State. Obviously, Michigan didn't go the way they wanted it to, but I mean, it's a pretty good team.
It is a good football team, and I would even say it's a great football team. It's a top 10 football team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this is a top 10 team.
And it seems like they're getting better too, which is weird,
yes.
especially when you take into account the injuries. Today was Joey Porter Jr. was sidelined for what Franklin called a non-football injury. So we'll
non-football injury situation.
Yeah, so we'll see what's going on with that. Curtis Jacobs was also sidelined today, so Abdul Carter started in his place. Injuries are happening, and it's just like not breaking them.
I think the interesting thing, the point you made about Penn State getting better as the season goes on, it's because there's so many young players who are getting quality time, and they're really starting to grow and be comfortable in this scheme on both sides of the ball. And that is nothing but good news for Penn State heading into next year.
Especially when you have young players that are able to kind of, motivate some of the older guys too, where it says, okay, well, we can take your spot, and we have. Like, look, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen are the 2 starting running backs right now. There have been players who have transferred. Kevon Lee, not sure what's going on there, but I mean, they're freshmen running the show right now, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So that's just this constant, cycle of motivation, and it just makes everyone better. And that's how great teams are made. That's how elite teams are made.
Yep. That's where it comes from. Another big win for Penn State. They're on the road next week against Rutgers. Only 2 regular season games left. That's it for us. Thanks for watching, and follow along online at collegian.psu.edu and Twitter at PSU Footblog and 1-0 Pod.